Hello, my name is Timothy Miller, and I am a Russian bot. Woo. This hashtag walk away, and I had to write down my own thoughts and experiences because doing it at the top of my head probably wouldn't bode well into a very coherent message. So if you will, this is my hashtag walk away. So, my name is Timothy Miller. I was in college in 2010 or so and hung out with my socialist brothers, friends a lot, and what they said sounded great. I had no conflict of opinions, and while in college I wanted to go attend a conservative meeting just out of the blue one day. I didn't hear any other thoughts, but I had this interest, whatever that was, whatever reason I went. I haven't heard the other side, so I decided to go. As there were 7 times the amount of people who supported Democrats than conservatives, the conservative meeting I went to only had about 4 people in it, including myself. What they said, I don't remember. I just remember that they violated me. What they said violated me. It did not go well, and I even outlashed at them. I behaved in a way that was disgusting, and if I could go back, I would go back. But at that time, I felt violated by just them simply saying whatever it is that they said. I don't remember. I soon went into the military because of financial reasons, and through having an incredibly difficult time to adjust, I committed to gaining money via trading. That fizzled out, but other things came about from it. Libertarian ideas, or the ideals of libertarianism, came into my life, and to this date I would still like to consider myself a libertarian, or the libertarian ideas to be correct. But again, that's just my opinion, and I'm still consistently learning every single day. After I got into the military, I held my political affiliation strongly. After about 3 years or so, I started to chill out and listen to conservative viewpoints from people such as Ben Shapiro, even Steven Crowder. Maybe not the best people for conservatism, but they're most relatable to me. They're actually around my age versus other conservatives who are a little bit older or just sound a little bit dull. I haven't heard of their viewpoints in a while or ever. So I then started my own YouTube channel, not because of it, but soon after I started my own YouTube channel because I wanted to create a business by interviewing people. It was like the personal development world. I wanted to get into it. But I failed at that, and I tried other business ventures. I failed at those. It sucked. But I am continuing to build my business and my empire. It's a process. Entrepreneurship is a process. And it's not for everybody. But I had a conversation with a few people, with a person, and that I interviewed during my time making those videos on YouTube. A young, spunky, and energetic black man. He had a lot of potential. He had a lot of great ideas. They were a little far-fetched for me, but carry on, wayward son. After the conversation, he called me a racist. Not during the interview, but we had a conversation after the interview, or soon after the interview, probably like a week. And he called me a racist for, quote unquote, I don't care, from me to him, I don't care about your race, creed, color, nationality, or sex. You can make it here in America. After that point, I knew that Democrats were wrong, but I never understood why. I knew that what I believed in was correct and everybody else was wrong. That's when I was in the military, and that's when I was ignorant about politics. Or not necessarily policies, but the belief system you have when whatever political ideology you go toward, whichever political party you associate yourself to. So these are just simply 3 points that I have on both sides. I'm not saying they're right nor wrong, but I am. Here's, again, I wrote a little on pieces of paper. You know this is legitimate because I'm having a presentation. This is what I consider the liberal belief system, or the Democratic Party. There's a bunch of ideas. They're all over the place. There we go. They're all over the place. Every single one of these things, like topics of corrupt police officers, universal health care, universal income, pro-choice, just to name a few. Each one of these ideas is correct in some degree, but it doesn't connect with the others. There's some validity with each and every single one of these topics, but there's not really a coherent message that is great for any foundational belief system to carry yourself into success. So 3 of these examples would be pro-choice or pro-abortion, not necessarily pro-choice, but pro-abortion. The right for the woman to choose what they get to do with their own body is what pro-choice stands for. So what I wrote down. Democrats are in favor of the woman having the right to choose what to do with her body. Again, that's a very valid perspective, but the application of it doesn't make any sense in comparison to other, use that standard in other areas of life. But when it comes for a parent to choose which school to put her child in or the health insurance they buy, crickets. You hear nothing. They think that, oh, because you want to have school choice is apparently bad for the children. But I thought I get to have choice. I want choice to do with what it is that I want to do with my child. That's what you're doing with pro-abortion, pro-choice. Can I have the choice of doing what other things with my child other than just that one thing? Or is the group governing what I get to do with my life? I thought we wanted to give freedom to people, freedom to individuals. You have the right to live your life. You have the right to live your life. Just don't bother me with your life. You have every right to live your lifestyle. Just don't help me fund your lifestyle. And if I have to fund your lifestyle, you have to fund mine. I identify as a billionaire. Chop chop. So what caused them to get pregnant? Again, a very simple question. What caused the person to get pregnant? What caused the woman to get pregnant? Either unprotected sex or a condom broke. The belief system that their actions are to be remedied by other people. I want to have sex. Oh, I'm pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant anymore. Fund my abortion or go to jail for not paying the taxes, not paying the revenue, not paying the sources for me to get the thing that you don't believe myself I should be doing. I know that probably didn't make any sense, but I'm sort of on a wave. I'm on a wave. Thank you for bearing through this. And number 2, universal health care. They want to help people. They do. They want to help people. That's it. Again, going back to this little chart that I just created. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I'll sell it on eBay for thousands of millions of dollars. Universal health care. It's a valid point to help people who don't have the services available to them. That's a very valid point. It's not connected with other things. As an example, they want to help people, but are not for giving people choice as to which insurance companies to contract with. What about the daily habits that create a healthy lifestyle, like your diet, your exercise, and your sleep? 3 things you can do every single day, and within 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, over time you will have a healthy lifestyle, dropping down your insurance cost, paying less for your insurance, having a healthier lifestyle, and it extends into other areas of life. Hopefully there's a pattern that's going on, because it's one of the reasons I had to write down my thoughts. There's a pattern that that's already starting to form. Someone else is at fault, someone else is to blame. It's not me, it's you. You create my results in my life. You have to act in a certain way to make me live a life of wonderment. That happiness is something you do for me, not that I do for myself, nor do I do for other people. So your own personal actions are never brought up into discussion. I have never heard a Democrat ever in my life. I've never heard a Democrat. I knew they were wrong, but I never knew how wrong they were. I've never heard a Democrat or a current modern-day liberal, socialist, SJW, modern-day feminist, again, 4th way, 3rd way feminist, whatever, that they've never brought up the own personal actions of the individual and the results that come from it. If I tell off another person and I curse and cuss at them, well, I don't know why they're not my friends anymore. It's because of your own actions, how you acted, how you related with the other person. You are responsible for the actions in your life. And again, how responsible are you? Well, whatever ability, whatever resources, whatever opportunity is in your life, I want to help you maximize it. And I've never heard that conversation, that phrase, that segment of thought ever on the left. I've never heard it with a Democrat. You have a certain amount of power, but it's minuscule in comparison to another person, so let's go after them. Well, no. You have maybe a little bit of power compared to the rest of the group, but how can we maximize the power you do have? So you can become a person with $1,000 a month, to a person who has $2,000 a month, to a person who has $5,000 a month. How do we increase you, not to bring somebody else down? Well, if we increase, then the other person decreases. Now, the other person may decrease because of whatever reason, but then how do we increase them? And how do we bring up the most amount of people in society? Maximization, not equality. Never. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit passionate about this one topic. Yeah. So, again, your own personal actions are never brought up in discussion because it's society's fault. You are this way. Number 3. Again, going back to this chart. Universal basic income. A third very valid point. That to give people money so they can start that business, giving people money so they can fund that hobby, so they can get that to get them that good bed, so they can have a good night's sleep. That's a wonderful point to bring up. It's a wonderful point to bring up, so that they can put food on the table, help their children, being pro-life and all. It's a very valid point. But good moral intentions. Agreed. But what about you as a person? What are the thoughts you think, the words you speak, the actions you take? What if we first have them take into account the opportunities that are available to them, regardless of how either large or small, grand or minuscule, to them now? Take action to capitalize on those opportunities and help them be committed to the process of seeing the opportunity and acting on those opportunities. Instead of having a soft bigotry of low expectations and seeing people as whether they are too weak or too incapable to even get themselves to be committed to something even greater than themselves. I look at me and where I'm at. Well, I'm going to look behind me. Is this what I want in life? Am I committed to something better? Am I going to use the thoughts, the words, the actions, emotions, and experiences inside of myself to make my life even better? Well, to the Democrat, to the left, to the liberal, modern-day liberal, not classic liberal, to the modern-day liberal, the answer is it's everyone else's fault that I have what it is that I have in my life. It's not my fault. I am just a product of my society, of my environment. It's everyone else's fault. Everyone else is to blame. Universal, yeah. So, that was the liberal side, and I'm not necessarily a conservative, but I'm creeping more in that direction, because I've never heard these thoughts when I was growing up in school, when I went into college. I never knew the conservative viewpoints. I didn't have that exposure. This is what I consider to be the conservative viewpoint, and again, conservative, classic liberal, libertarian, independent, or anyone else except for the modern-day left, the modern-day Democrat. Each and every single point is valid, and not just valid, just like this side. Each and every single one of these points is actually connected to each and every single one. There's actually a fluidity. There's a foundation. Should I do this? Well, we have to understand there's other things connected to it, that we're not just applying this one standard in a vacuum. It's not just this, it's not a let alone type of ideology. There's other things that go into it when we apply it to other standard. We apply the standard to other areas of life. So these are 3 points, just as an example. Every single one of these points is valid, but there's no congruency, there's no connection, there's no continuity. Hopefully that's the correct word or verbiage. But over here, the conservative, libertarian, independent, whatever you want to call it, classic liberal, all of these actually have a congruency when you start to think and consider, well, I believe in this. What if I apply this standard to somewhere else? Why feminism? Can feminism and transsexuals coexist? Is it about femininity? Well, then any single person who acts out femininity is therefore a woman. Can a woman change willy-nilly? I'm a woman. That type of example. And again, you can live your lifestyle. I may disagree with you. Just don't. Again, my thoughts could go a little strange. Let's stick to the points that I wrote down. So again, the three conservative viewpoints, and I labeled them conservative: libertarian, classic liberal, independent, whatever it is. But the three conservative viewpoints, just top three over here. Let's start right there. So pro-life. Rather than pro-choice, pro-life. That the child in a mother's womb is a life. It's a life form. It is a life form. You don't have to value the life form. You don't have to like kittens. You don't have to like puppies, but it's still a life form, and we respect life forms. So it's not a clump of cells. It has intrinsic value. Wait until you're married to have a child, to have children, and those children will have the structure and support to grow up stronger than those who without a strong foundation at home. I know, rather simple concept, easy to understand, as the great George Carlin would have stated. So again, your actions play a role in the results in your life. Number two, very top, whichever node we want to connect to, is just, now we're going to go to this one. The competing health insurance. For any company, they want healthy, fit, and active people on their team. We want to service people who are fit, athletic, and healthy. People who get enough sleep. People who have, if they have an issue, they're fixing it. They're curing it themselves. If I have an issue going to sleep, I'm going to see a therapist. Oh, you're seeing a therapist? That's less money that you have to pay each month. Well, that's awesome. You mean what my actions my actions led to a result that's actually beneficial for me? Say it ain't so, doctor. No, actually, please say it's so, doctor. Yeah. On their team, because when someone exercises, eats right, and gets enough sleep, costs go down. What a wonderful cause and effect relationship that is. Your actions have everything to do with how much you pay. Now, is it other people's fault? Can other people make your life challenging, like children? Getting enough sleep when you have children? Yeah, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. I don't even have any children of my own. But isn't there someone who has children and gets enough sleep? And if the answer is yes, which the answer is, what are they doing? And where are they, so I can go and talk to them and get a plan and system, a strategy that they're doing, and apply it to my world? Maybe they require $1,000 just to have a conversation because of how busy their life is, because they also have children and they're running a few businesses and a few charities. Well, how can I get where they are? What if I do exactly what they do? My actions and my results in my life are correlated. They're connected. What a radical concept, the Democrats would say. Where was I? And if you are paying, there's a train. I live next to a train track. I'll be right back. Hopefully the train passed. Yeah. And if you're paying too much with health insurance, you have someone else you can go to. If this company, this group is charging me too much, I have the choice, being pro-choice and all, to move my money somewhere else. Again, the sense of choice I heard so much about with the democratic, quote, current modern-day liberal agenda. How dare I be responsible for the results in my life? How dare I? Number three, and again, going back to this little chart, capitalism. What? If I want something from society, then I must give to society. I know. I've been called a bigot because of that thought. My actions cause the results in my life, not society. Both, again, let me say this. Both the actions I take and society play a role. But where am I going to spend my time, my energy, and effort? Am I going to try to change other people? Am I going to try to control other people? Or am I going to try to control myself? Which one is most energy efficient? Myself. Which one is most productive? Myself. Which one comes off better when in a communication? Do you want to follow somebody that's trying to control you, or do you want to follow somebody who's trying to control themselves better? I want to follow somebody who's improving themselves. There's a train, I'll be right back. Thank you for that wait, and I apologize for the interruption. Yep. Over the past 6 months, I had been questioning myself as to the simplistic way I can frame the dichotomy, the two opposing viewpoints. Liberalism, conservatism. Democrat, Republican. It's not an exact science, it's not an exact representation, but it's a very simplistic way that I can frame myself into understanding something better. Simple things get done, complicated things don't. If it's something that's too complicated, you're not able to function, you're not able to process it, you're not able to work with it, it gets to the side, it gets pushed to the side. But if it's something is simple, maybe even too simple, it'll get done, but what's the meaning? I want something complicated, I want something challenging. Simple things get done, complicated things are cool looking, but they don't get done as effectively. So, in short, the current modern day Democrats, again, that's my own belief system, the prior statement that I just said. In short, the current modern day Democrats live by one creed, and well, I guess this is your left. Democrats live by one creed. Everyone else is at fault. Everyone else is to blame. I'll say that again. This side, the incoherency of everything, each and every single point is valid, but there's no coherent message. It's that every single topic of this is that somebody else made this the way that it is. Someone else is at fault for having this system the way that it is. That any time that I want a universal health care, well, universal health care is because of everybody else is at fault, everyone else is to blame. Well, the corrupt police officers in this world, well, that's because of everyone else is to blame, everyone else is at fault. It's society's fault, it's not my fault, there's no personal accountability in this. Now, with the other side, the one that I prefer, is that there's coherency. The conservatives, independents, classic liberals, whatever you want to call yourself, libertarian, you start to think, and well, wait a second, the corrupt police officers. Well, what about the Second Amendment? What if the corrupt police officers are not able to get there in time? What if there is a corrupt police officer? Do I have the person? What if I record them? What if I have a camera in my car just to make certain? What if we put what if their camera, what if they not just turn it off but leave it in their car and then they do something corrupted to me? Well, what if I had a camera in my car, any action I can take to make certain that I'm going to be safe from the corrupt police officers? The actions I take has an effect upon the results that I get. And what if the officers aren't able to get there in time to a place that is needed of a police officer? Well, what about the Second Amendment? What about the Second Amendment? What's the reason for the Second Amendment? Protection? Oh, that's interesting. Well, I was told that if you harm a criminal, if you kill a person who's trying to harm you, well, then you're the bad guy. That's what I hear from the Democratic Party. That's what I'm hearing from the left. And I'm not hearing this from anybody. It's like you have the right to being pro-life. Your life is intrinsically valuable. I'm not hearing that on the left. And I get frustrated and I get pissed off any single time that this side says I'm pro-life, and again, being pro-life, I don't see it. Well, what about universal health care? We're trying to help people. Well, I don't want to take it from others. You have every right to live your lifestyle. What about the parents that actually birthed you? Where are they? What responsibility do they have? No, it's not the parents' fault. It's society's fault. Well, somebody has to be at fault. It's you. You're at fault because you haven't given me what it is that I wanted. And this side is... I can't deal with this side. This side is done. I'm done with this side. They have really... Again, I can rip this all up. And there's a circle over here. There's no need for any of this because it's meaningless. I can still focus on this in a vacuum. But the moment you start to try to tie it to another piece, it doesn't work appropriately. It's not really connected. It sounds good when they're connected, but when you add another piece, it starts to crumble and fall apart. This side, when you start to think and start to critically understand and analyze what it is that you believe and why it is that you believe that way, that your results your results in your life are because of you. If somebody doesn't have enough money in their bank account, it's not society's fault that they didn't give you that amount of money. What have I been giving? What have I been doing with my time? Have I been playing games? Have I been doing some things behind the scene in the bedroom? Have I been doing things with other people that have been wasteful of time? I haven't heard that on the left. And that's the one reason I will never vote Democrat. I wasn't going to vote Democrat because it just didn't make any sense, but now I'm committed that I can never vote Democrat because of it's somebody else's fault, somebody else is to blame. But what about your own personal actions? No, shh. Your own power we can't bring up because if you have any power, you're taking that power away from the group, the people we care about. If you focus on let's focus on the illegal immigrants, but what about the black poor families that have been separated from the 1960s and 70s because of the drug war and because we had to imprison 70% of the black males all the families were destroyed. What about those people who have been separated and their families in America? What if we stopped spending $20,000 on every single not migrant children, but refugee, and we start spending that money on the American people? What if we give American people $20,000 a year? You know how much more productive we can be? Much more productive. Now, I'm not saying that refugees are not smart or they're not worthy of being protected. I'm not talking about that, but why is it them first, not us? Why do we focus... Again, a plane, this is my last thing. I apologize for going on such a rant. I do apologize. I don't really like to get pissed off or upset like this often. On a plane, who do they tell to put a mask on first? You. Not the child that's next to you, not an adult that's next to you. You put the mask on you first. When you service yourself first, you make yourself good. You're good to help other people then. I need to help myself. I need to make the most amount of money. Then I can help another person. And that belief system can be applied to any and all people in America, in the world. You can make yourself as great as possible, but first understand, like Jordan Peterson has once said, clean your room. Clean your damn room. Start with yourself. Pick up the pieces and take care of yourself first. It's you. This is why I lean conservative, libertarian, independent, classic liberal. I can never be on the left ever again because of that one topic: personal responsibility and individual accountability. Individual responsibility and personal accountability. However you want to spin it. You and yourself, you, regardless of whose fault it may be, it is still my responsibility. And that is an adult way of looking at life. It's they didn't do something that made me do something, and if they did, if someone did do something to me when I was a child, if someone did do something to me when I wasn't aware of it, regardless of what happened in the past, I am here right now. What can I do with the time that is available to me and get to the place that I want to be and become the person I want to become? It's my responsibility to become who it is that I want to be and have the things that I want in life. If I want a wife, what type of man do I have to become? It's not the woman's fault. It's not women's fault. It's my fault. I did actions that led me up to this situation, this point in life. It's my fault. And if it's not my fault, it's still my responsibility. And I've never, and I can even bet you, I'll never hear that on the left. Because the moment that the left says that, they're opening up that you are responsible for your actions, which would actually put into question their policies they want to implement. So, yeah. I went on to a tirade. I don't know if I want to apologize. Yeah, that's, oh, okay. Whew. Oh, man, that was, whew. I'm sweating right now. Mainly because I'm in Texas, and it's in the summer. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Thank you. If I could extend my one soapbox moment, it's that what results do you have in your life? Regardless of your political affiliation, what results do you have in your life, and what can you do about it? And which political party, which political ideology, I'm not gonna try to lead you to one, maybe lead you away from one, but which political party supports you gaining more power, becoming more independent, becoming a greater human? Which political party, which political ideology is best for you in that camp? I don't know. I guess we'll leave it off there. Yeah. Thank you, and my name's Timothy Miller. Enjoy the rest of your day. #walk away.